Gee. Oh, I need a new chair, guys. Oh, here. Welcome back to YouTube. Welcome back to YouTube.
Just let me breathe. Just let me breathe.
Hey yo, welcome back to the Whole Cookie and Nothing But with your YouTube host. Yes, it's me. I'm back. Cookie. You already know who it be. Tell them who sent you. Cause you already know. I know. Bitch, where you been? Well, we were not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. See, what that is for a life update. That is for people who actually care to know where a bitch has been. I try not to curse a lot, but it's not in my nature. I promise you guys I'm a good person. Now, if you clicked on today's video, I'm sure you're thinking, girl, it's not Halloween. What you getting spooky for? I'm not necessarily going to make over my face in some Halloween costume in the middle of May. No, that's not what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys a story. You probably already know about this story, but I'm going to tell it again. You know why? Because I looked and I searched, and I'll show you that I searched, and there is and there isn't a lot of information about what I'm going to tell you today. And it just so happened that recently this year, it has become an even bigger thing than what it once was when it first happened. And this is me putting this subject to rest for my mind to be at ease. But first, before getting into my Get Spooky With Me, I would like you to gently murder the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up towards the end of this video if you liked what I'm talking about, if you like my hairstyle, if you like the way my makeup came out, or if you just like my voice, or if you dislike it, please still like it. Why not? It's free. Some of you may already be familiar with the story of the Cecil Hotel and Elisa Lam. It's kind of a popular story that happened back in 2013, and I will explain the story of how I came across it, the things that I found, some of the clips that I've seen from, Discovery Channel. If it's something you're into, please stick around, and hopefully you won't judge me for my bare face right now, but for the beautiful swan I will become later on. Excuse this ugly duckling. So you guys, I already started on my eyebrows just because they do take a while, and I'm just not in for trying to pay attention and do these non-existing brows as they are. So we're already done there. Story popped up back in 2013. At that time, I'm trying to think, I was still in middle school. Oh my gosh, I'm really showing my age here. Internet wasn't really big back then. It wasn't made for like social media things. So we got our news from the actual news, and our phones still had buttons on them, I believe, at that time. We were just crossing over to the touchscreen era. Oh my gosh. I just recently this year heard about Elisa Lam just from the commercials of on Netflix. If you guys don't know, there is a documentary on Netflix about the Cecil Hotel. They briefly talk about Elisa Lam the first couple of episodes, and then they move on to Richard Rodriguez, who was a killer who didn't care who his, victims were, child, woman, or anything. He was very unpredictable. This year, I recently found out about, her story, and I was talking to my husband and my in-laws about this. And we were discussing, her story and what, she's been through. Sorry, I look a little crazy right now. What my, we're going to call her GD. So GD was explaining to me how back in 2013, this story was really big for, a while, for almost a whole, 2 lingering years afterwards. And like I said, me not knowing, this was all across the news back then. And I didn't watch the news. I was playing in the streets being a kid. After discussing, and us having like a whole big discussion on what we think might have happened, my husband goes more, into it, and he finds out that, a couple of people at that time were looking into a game called the elevator game. Oh man, if you don't know about it, I'm gonna go more into detail, so stay tuned to that. I'll probably have timestamps down below for specific, topics you might want to hear about. Don't quote me on it, I'm gonna try it though. He ended up finding an elevator game that we think she might have played before, last being seen. First thing I want to get into is the actual Cecil Hotel. Now, the Cecil Hotel, to me, it seems very deceitful because when you walk in, it gives the illusion of a 5-star hotel. When you walk in, it kind of gives you like Great Gatsby vibes, and it's just the whole deceitful, like, just entrance, because once you walk, into that elevator and go up past the first floor and, upward of, I believe, 14 freaking stories high, basically a motel. It's a free-for-all. It's where the druggies go, the junkies go, the people who don't have enough money, tourists, or people who don't know much about this LA area. And it was built back in 1924 by 3 men who were into the tourist and the hotel industry business. And those men are, let me read it because I'm not good at names. William B. Hanner, Charles L. Dix, I'm gonna put it on the screen, and Robert H. Schaubs. If I'm saying those names correctly, even at all, if I'm not, feel free to correct me down below. I won't be saying those names again. So those 3 men came together to build this hotel. If I'm looking over here, you guys, I'm also looking down at my notes just so I don't miss anything, because there is a lot I want to tell you guys that I found, and I don't want to just find it for no reason. I gotta tell somebody, so might as well tell the whole world. Here are 3 reasons why I would not even stay there at all. Like, why these 3 reasons would give me enough not to stay anywhere at all. The worst part of town of LA, they literally dedicated a street for where they just let homeless people sleep because poverty is so bad down there because it's so expensive. That's a put off to me. Not only is there homeless people, but there's junkies, there's prostitutes, there's pimps, there's gangsters, there's shootings. People go there specifically to waste away. So for that to be where that hotel's main street is, you have to know that some of those people are up there. It's not only, at that time, it wasn't only just for tourists and, random just strangers to come on in. They were renting it out. They were renting some of these rooms out, and they couldn't get these people out once they were in here. That being said, with all those killings and all those people dying from overdose or just being at the wrong place at the wrong time, that building will soak all that up. For me, I wouldn't even want to go there from all the killings, because it has to be haunted. What it attracts is exactly everything that causing people to see things and everything. Yes, I believe in that, and that is what that hotel is soaking up. All that negativity, off-putting already. Why would you? Why would you? Why would you? Would you? Would you? Just tell me, would you? I would not. Once you get on those elevators and those doors close and you go up to whatever floor you decided to pay for that cheap night, you're getting what you pay for. And it's exactly as it was described in those documentaries on Netflix. They interviewed the people who literally stayed there, and from what they described the hotel to be when they got there, I would not stay there.
It had like a brown tint to it. We were brushing our teeth using that water. We were showering in that water.
I'm sorry, my standards won't allow me to stay anywhere that I'm uncomfortable sleeping, peeing, showering, like doing what I do to survive. If I'm uncomfortable there, I'm sorry, my standards ain't gonna let me stay there. I'm not. Hearing these tourists from, across the world or just from another country close by come to this LA spot because LA's the spot, and to be like, oh, okay, these dirty sheets are okay. Okay, the water's brown, that's fine. I mean, it smells a little weird, that's cool. Like, no. No, obviously something's not right. Something's wrong, and you need to get out. My advice to anyone going anywhere in the world, far away, especially far away in a whole different culture, please do your research. Do all your research, where you're staying, where you're eating, like all of it. Just plan ahead. Be prepared. Be over prepared. It's better to be over prepared than unprepared and you get jacked or kidnapped or stabbed. Last reason I would not be staying at that place is because there's been too many accidental deaths. If there's one shooting, okay, I can see how there could be multiple people. That could happen, still wouldn't stay there. Suicide in the room that I'm staying in, I wouldn't stay there. Suicide anywhere in the building, I would not stay there. Somebody literally took their life. They were not happy and they chose this place to take their life. I'm not staying there. Needless to say, the Cecil Hotel holds a pretty heavy amount of baggage for anyone to just pop up and say, I'm gonna take a stay here tonight. Some people even believe that, since all this is happening, I'm priming my face right now, that Richard Ramirez, also referred to as the Night Stalker, had something to do with her disappearance. I can see how people could think that, but not from the evidence that was, provided on her last moments of being here. Elisa Lam was not all the way there. She wasn't stable. She was suffering from depression. And for those who know or who suffered from depression or know someone who has suffered from depression, it's not easy. Some days can be a breeze and other days can be a drag. And me having to deal with depression myself here and now and then, it does get hard. And some people who don't deal with it or don't know anyone who is dealing with it will kind of feel like that person who, is claiming to be depressed, they might not believe them because people think that being depressed isn't a real, issue when it is. And that's what she was suffering with while being there at the hotel. Some people might have speculated that she was drugged and killed by this man named Morbid. He was an dark artist. He was a rock artist. And I could see how they would have thought that too, because he made songs. He was literally at the Cecil Hotel, but the timeline does not match. For me, it's out of the question, because if you weren't there and the same timeline as her, we can't accuse him. But still, trollers would, send threats like, oh, you better confront the cops and tell them you did it. If they didn't do it, they didn't do it. Let them live, okay? I know you're trying to find peace for their family, but it wasn't the dude, okay? Now, Elisa Lam had to take, different medications for her depression. Her sister would report that there would be times where she didn't even take her medicine at all. And she would skip not only one day, but multiple days. I'm dripping. So yeah, her sister would report also that she would run and hide from the family, under her bed, just away from everyone, because that medication, her not taking medication would make her, hallucinate and see things and it could also, you know, make people feel like someone is chasing them when they're not. Just like a whole bunch of factors of her not, you know, taking her medicine when she, you know, needs to, or as much as she needs to, and the results are, you know, rash. And I can honestly seeing that in the video. I'll show parts and clips of the video to you guys as I'm discussing this right now, but seeing that in the video, I can see how she could be hallucinating. My question is why? Why the roof? Why the water tower? Why was there not enough cameras on each of the floors to show where she might have gone, where she might have went, and how she got even up to the water tower, the roof, you know? And why was there a whole minute missing from the video? And why was this no longer further looked into? Because it was just qualified as a accidental suicide. Like, some things just don't add up. I know everything happens for a reason, but some things just don't add up. Period. A 21-year-old college student from Canada living with her parents and her sister wanted to adventure out into the world and express herself as just being, you know, a non-antisocial, high-spirited girl. And she was. And normally I would say, great, go out, express yourself, live your life, you know, see the world. Nobody wants to be bottled up in their hometown or where, you know, they're growing up for the rest of their life. You know, we want to adventure out. It's just in human nature to go and adventure, you know, for some of us anyway. But given her circumstance of her needing medication and then her having the history of not taking her medication, I would have said no, or would have told her yes with a friend. Seeing that her parents didn't take that extra precaution makes me a little like, did they just trust her that much to know that she would take it? I don't know. We don't know. I would not have my child go somewhere that I can't physically drive to you in a timely manner in an emergency. Where she's going, where she's staying for the night, everything. What she's gonna eat, what's her plan, to and from. Like, I need to know more than just when your plan takes off and comes back. But she goes alone. But she goes. She goes. Sorry, I put a lot of chapstick on. My lips are crusty. I'm dry, girl. I'm dry. But she goes and she plans a trip for 4 days. She went missing on the 3rd day of, you know, her staying there down in LA. You know, it's reported. Her family tried to contact her and, you know, she doesn't come home and they're getting worried, and it takes days, it takes weeks. And it almost took a whole month for them to find her at the top of the roof of the Cecil Hotel and a water tower. And it took complaints from the tenants and the people staying at the hotel talking about the water pressure being low, the water being a different color, smelling funny, all that. It took all of that for, you know, the Cecil Hotel to even look in the water tower. And the police, when checking the hotel, looking for, you know, up and down for Elisa Lam, they didn't even think to check the, you know, water tower on the roof. Even with having these 3 minutes of her last known, you know, being seen, and rewatching this video, it not once shown her going to the roof, you know, doing any sorts of that, because one, the hotel didn't even have enough cameras to show that, so they were very limited on the evidence of where she had gone and, you know, where she could have possibly gone. All they know is that from that 5th floor that she was staying on, she ended up on the roof with her clothes off in the water tank. And to me, that just doesn't even make sense. For her to have gone from the 5th floor all the way to the roof. There's only a couple ways you can get up there. One is the fire escape on the outside of the building, and that's pretty high. You would have to go pretty high to reach the top of the roof, which is scary. I'm afraid of heights. Another way is the staircase, but it has an alarm on it, and there was no reported, noise going on, doors opening, sensors going off about that door being open, at that time. And then, of course, the elevator, but she was not on the elevator. No further clips of her on the elevator besides the almost 3 minutes of her doing some weird hand motions, stepping in and out of the elevator. There was nothing else but this clip, and like I said, the minute that was miraculously disappeared from the videotape. So really it was almost a 4-minute long video, but they didn't have the rest of the video. Now, did they tamper with the evidence? We don't know. They said they did not. Do we believe them? We don't know. So, look at this video. I just want you to look at it. And I'm going to speed through. The last people to physically see Elisa Lam were the people who called management because she was being a big disturbance to the people she was bunking with. And like I said, I wouldn't live here, stay here, rent here, nothing, because it was co-bedding. So that means you could be literally bunking with people you do not know. No, I cannot. So she was causing a disturbance, and management placed her in her own separate room. And from there, no one had seen her. I'm not understanding how for her to have, walked on the side of this building. Say she walked on the fire escape on the side of the building because they quote unquote said that the door didn't have any, alarms go off. Let's just say she climbed on the side of this fire escape on the side of this building going 14 stories high in the sky. Let's just say she did that. Let's just say she had the ambition to truly go through with that. Why would she even bother with taking off her clothes, climbing up those stairs, unlatching, the water tower, and shimmying her way through that hole into the freezing cold water just for a swim, and then oops, she can't get out because she closed the latch right freaking above her. I just can't see that happening. I can't see someone willingly in their right mind. They didn't find anything in her system, by the way. They didn't find any drugs. They didn't find any, different substances. They didn't even find her, prescribed pills because she had not taken them. She had missed all those days of taking them. So, if you didn't find anything, my hypothesis is she played the elevator game. I know, it's a little far-fetched. I mean, come on, Cookie. How could you think she did the elevator game in Los Angeles in the middle of, whatever was going on back then? Why, out of all things, would she play that? Well, I wouldn't necessarily think of anyone dying from playing a game, but this specific game called the elevator game, and even Zach talks about it on Discovery Channel. I know I'm not sponsored or anything. I just think it was a really good documentary to get into. Even he explains the game, the elevator game, which don't do what he did.
Fourth floor. Stay in the elevator and press the button for the second floor. Press the button for the 10th floor. Press the button for the 5th floor. It has been reported by some that a woman may enter the elevator on the 5th floor. Wonderful. I'm just reading this for the first time. So, okay, hold on. Holy, I just felt a cold, I just felt an ice cold mass of air come into the elevator. Is there somebody in here with me? Are you the lady? She may appear as a stranger who wishes to engage with you. I didn't see nobody, I felt something. It is important that you do not acknowledge her. Well, it's too late because I already acknowledged the wind. Why have I not read these directions before I'm doing this?
Link the articles down below. I won't link down the rules. In those rules, when you read them, they specifically tell you what to and not to do. And you would think in playing this game, this ritual, as it sometimes is looked up on Google, it is highly dangerous. You would think you would want to read all the rules before pursuing such a game like this.
As I complete the final step of the elevator game, I enter the lobby when suddenly the elevator mysteriously shoots up to the 7th floor.
Look at that. Why'd the elevator just skyrocket up? I didn't press that. It just went to the 7th floor. There's nobody on the 7th floor. Look, here it comes. Here it comes.
I take the elevator to the 7th floor, hoping to get an answer.
Is there somebody that got on the elevator with me?
I don't know if it's just me, but that's not how I roll. Before I play any game, I'm reading the rules. Before I build anything, I'm reading the instructions. There ain't no spare parts, no words, sentences going unread from me. I'm reading everything. It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. I'm just baking. I'm just baking. Going through all of these examples that I found on the internet and just looking up stuff and researching, watching the documentaries on Netflix and Discovery Channel, and just, diving deeper into her story, it just kept driving me to find more and more. And the only things I can find when I was discussing with, my hubby, the only thing that I could, come across was not even really where it, originated at. Some people believed it originated in Korea. Some people believe Japan. Somewhere, in that region is where people are kind of like specifying that that's where this game has has come from. The full title is The Elevator Game to the Other World. And literally, if you look up pictures of this, there's nothing. So you Google this, right? The elevator to the other world, and then you click on the images. You will find literally absolutely nothing. Continuing this discussion with my in-laws, my GD put it into perspective for me that there was also another ritual that was called the ladder to other worlds, which is where there was a picture of ladder. I didn't get this picture, so I won't be able to show you, unfortunately, but there was like ladders and different levels of just a bunch of ladders just going up, and just 10 floors. And if you read the rules, that's kind of the same aspect of the elevator game, that I found and researched. Like I said, I'll put links down below. And these are the only two pictures that I have come across when even researching it recently. I find it interesting that the one picture that I'm showing you is of a witch, and how what she's holding is literally 10 levels of some ritual that she's doing, and the actual spell that I found too, that I'm showing you guys, was attached to this picture. And then when I try to find these pictures now, literally can't find them. Literally can't even come across them anymore. Maybe you guys can find them, but for me, it won't even look these pictures up for me. I'm glad I screenshotted it. Let me know what you guys think of these two pictures. Like, am I going crazy, just being like everybody else, trying to figure out what happened to this poor girl? Am I coming up with like crazy ideas, like out of the wazoo? This is pretty much almost my everyday makeup. I say everyday makeup like I wear makeup every day. Enjoy today's Get Spooky with me, even though I'm not looking anywhere spooky. And I'm sorry, when I do lip gloss, I lose track of the world. My mineral powder brown on my eye, so it's my eyes already brown, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to go smoky. Then I do my nose, eyebrow, right here. You see this right here? I do that, boop. Then I do this, boop. And then I put some on my cheek. Brush this out. It's a lot. Or my cheek gonna be shining, 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 yeah. And I put a little on my forehead just so it looked like it's supposed to be that way. So yeah, final look of my natural everyday but not everyday routine. We talked spooky stuff. We chit-chatted, you know, a little bit. I decided to just mix up this Get Spooky with me just because it's also not Halloween, but I do like a good scary movie. And the real scary movies, not them bitches tripping over air type shit. Hope y'all find this interesting. I know it's not very traditional. Netflix and Discovery Channel, you know, definitely sponsor me. Just actually watch what happens.